1. You are the only thing standing in your way. One of the hardest truths to accept is that the only real obstacle between where you are now and where you want to be, is you. Not luck. Not timing. Not talent. It's your willingness to act. Right now. In this very moment. We often wait. Wait for a perfect time. Wait to feel ready. Wait for things to line up. But the Stoics knew how dangerous that mindset could be. Epictetus taught that while we can't control the external world, we do have complete control over how we respond. And that response begins with choice, the choice to step forward and claim your potential, no matter what the world throws at you. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need everything figured out. What you need is to decide that you are worthy of more, and then act like it. That's what separates people who stay stuck from those who grow. Action rooted in self-belief. This isn't about ego or pretending you're invincible. It's about realizing that waiting for ideal circumstances is often just fear in disguise. The Stoics didn't wait, they acted with purpose, even when things felt uncertain or uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself daily to focus only on what he could control, his mindset, his effort, and his values. So here's the challenge: instead of hoping for the right opportunity, be the opportunity. Make the decision that your growth, your goals, your peace of mind, they all start with you showing up. Every day. With intention. You are not powerless. You are not behind. You're just one decision away from everything changing. Choose to step into that power, because the life you want won't begin until you do. 2. Act as if you are the best. What if the key to becoming your best self wasn't waiting for the right moment, but deciding, right now, to act as if you're already there? Too often, we let self-doubt hold us back. That little voice says we're not ready, not good enough, not talented enough. But here's the truth: no one ever feels completely ready. The most successful people don't wait until they're at the top to carry themselves with confidence, they begin with the mindset that they belong there. This isn't about arrogance. It's not about walking around thinking you're better than others. It's about showing up with intention, discipline, and belief in your ability to grow. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor of Rome, reminded himself daily to act with humility, virtue, and strength. He didn't act as if he had arrived, he acted as if every day was a chance to become better. When you act as if you're the best, you begin to build habits that match that identity. You speak with more clarity. You move with more purpose. You hold yourself to higher standards, not for approval, but because excellence becomes your baseline. And over time, something powerful happens: it stops being an act. It becomes who you are. Acting as if you're the best means refusing to shrink in the face of doubt. It means leading with your values even when it's hard. It means being calm, focused, and resilient, the very qualities Stoicism teaches us to live by. So if you're waiting for permission to believe in yourself, consider this it. You don't have to be at the top to carry yourself like someone who is. Start now. Carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who trains, learns, and improves every day. Because the truth is, when you act like the best, you're not faking it. You're building it. 3. Stoic philosophy is the foundation. Behind every powerful mindset lies a strong foundation, and for those striving to live with clarity, strength, and purpose, that foundation is Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believe that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can absolutely control how we respond. That simple but profound idea changes everything. It means that our growth, our peace, and even our success don't depend on circumstances, they depend on us. Epictetus taught that external events are beyond our power, but our responses, our attitudes, and our choices are fully within our grasp. That's where real strength comes from. It's not about forcing the world to bend to your will, but about mastering your inner world regardless of what the outer world throws at you. Marcus Aurelius lived this every day. Despite being one of the most powerful men on earth, he focused not on fame or fortune, but on virtue, humility, and service. He didn't use his position as a source of pride, he used it as a responsibility to live with wisdom. That's what made him great, and that's what makes Stoicism timeless. This philosophy isn't abstract or outdated. It's practical. It's something you can apply right now, in how you approach challenges, how you treat others, and how you lead yourself. The Stoics weren't superhuman. They just practiced self-awareness, discipline, and mental clarity like it was a daily duty. And that's the message: you don't need more control over the world. You need more control over yourself. And that control starts with perspective. When you root yourself in Stoic principles, you build a mindset that can't be shaken by chaos, criticism, or even failure. It's not about being cold or emotionless. It's about staying grounded, staying present, and making choices from a place of strength, not fear. That's the true power of Stoicism, and why it still matters today. 4. Confidence comes from action, not waiting. Most people believe they need to feel confident before they can act boldly, but the truth is, confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. From showing up even when you're uncertain. From choosing to act before the fear talks you out of it. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't believe in sitting around waiting for ideal emotions or perfect motivation. They believed in action, right action, grounded in discipline and purpose. Epictetus reminded his students that how we act determines who we become. And if you want to become someone confident, strong, and capable, you need to start acting like it now. You don't gain confidence by reading about it. You earn it through reps, by putting yourself in situations that stretch you. By walking into the job interview even when you're nervous. By starting the project even when you don't know every step. The act of trying builds momentum. That's how belief grows. Think about someone you admire, a leader, athlete, or artist. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They made a decision to step forward, again and again. And eventually, those small courageous steps turned into powerful confidence. Not because they were pretending, but because they kept showing up. Stoicism teaches us that real strength comes from within. Confidence isn't about swagger or image. It's about knowing you can face whatever comes, not because you're perfect, but because you're committed to growth. So if you're doubting yourself today, don't wait for confidence to magically appear. Take action. Speak up. Try anyway. Each time you do, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. And that's where real confidence is born. Remember, feelings follow actions. Don't let hesitation keep you small. Step forward, and let your confidence catch up. 5. Growth comes from facing challenges, not avoiding them. We all face obstacles, some small, some life-changing. But the way we approach them defines who we become. While most people try to avoid discomfort, the Stoics believe that challenges are not something to fear, they are opportunities to grow. Life will never be free of setbacks. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That means our struggles aren't distractions from the path, they are the path. Every hardship we encounter is a chance to build resilience, character, and clarity. When you run from difficulty, you miss out on transformation. But when you face it head-on, something powerful happens. You learn. You adapt. You get stronger. Just like a muscle only grows when it's pushed beyond its comfort zone, your character strengthens when you embrace adversity instead of escaping it. Epictetus reminded his students that we shouldn't wish for things to be easier. Instead, we should wish to be better equipped. That's the heart of Stoic thinking: don't try to change the world. Change yourself so you can meet the world with strength and wisdom. Challenges reveal your blind spots. They show you what you need to work on, your mindset, your habits, your patience. And they force you to level up in ways that comfort never could. The Stoics weren't fearless, they just refused to let fear stop them. When you choose to face your struggles instead of avoiding them, you reclaim your power. You show yourself that you are more capable than you thought. You become more grounded, more prepared, and more aligned with your highest potential. So don't wish the challenges away. Use them. Let them shape you into someone wiser, calmer, and more unshakable. That's how real growth happens, not by escaping the fire, but by learning how to walk through it with courage. 6. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress. We live in a world that often pushes perfection, perfect image, perfect success, perfect life. But the Stoics never aimed for perfection. They aimed for progress. And that's a mindset that can change everything. Perfection is an illusion. No one gets it right all the time. Even the greatest thinkers, leaders, and creators make mistakes, stumble, and fall short. But what sets them apart is their refusal to stay down. They see every failure, every shortcoming, as a stepping stone, not a dead end. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most disciplined minds in history, constantly reminded himself that he was human. He didn't write his meditations to show off, he wrote them to stay grounded, to stay on track, to remind himself to keep working on his flaws. That's Stoicism at its core, constant, honest reflection and steady improvement. When you adopt the mindset of progress over perfection, you free yourself from the fear of failing. You stop asking, "Am I good enough yet?" and start asking, "Am I better than I was yesterday?" That shift builds real momentum. It keeps you moving forward, even when things feel messy or uncertain. The Stoics believed that virtue wasn't a destination, it was a practice. Discipline, courage, wisdom, these aren't things you master once. They're choices you make every day. And some days, you'll fall short. But that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're still learning. So let go of the pressure to be flawless. What matters more is showing up, reflecting, and making small adjustments. Each step you take, even the imperfect ones, moves you closer to the person you want to become. Progress is real. It's earned. And over time, it builds a life of strength, purpose, and resilience. That's what the Stoics were after, and it's something you can begin right now. 7. You don't have to be the best to act like the best. Many people hold themselves back because they believe they need to be the best before they can act like it. But that's backward. You don't need to be at the top to start showing up with the mindset of someone who is, and in fact, that's exactly how you get there. The Stoics would tell you, greatness begins in the mind. Epictetus taught that we have full control over our beliefs, our attitude, and our actions, no matter our current circumstances. That means even if you're still growing, still learning, still finding your way, you can still choose to carry yourself with the discipline, focus, and purpose of someone who has already stepped into their full potential. Acting like the best isn't about pretending or faking confidence. It's about setting a higher standard for yourself and aligning your behavior with the person you aspire to become. It's about leading with effort, not ego, with intention, not illusion. Think of it like training. A professional athlete doesn't wait to win a championship before they act like a champion. They train, eat, sleep, and live like one before the title ever comes. The mindset comes first. The results follow. You might not be the best yet. That's okay. What matters is that you act in a way that earns respect, especially your own. That means staying consistent, taking responsibility, and refusing to let doubt dictate your choices. Over time, this mindset becomes your default. And before you know it, you're not just acting like someone capable, you become that person through repeated effort and self-alignment. So don't wait. Start now. Not when you feel ready. Not when things are perfect. Show up today as the version of yourself that you're working to become. Because when you act like the best, with humility, drive, and consistency, you're not pretending. You're becoming. 8. Practice makes it real, repetition builds identity. You don't become confident, disciplined, or strong by thinking about it, you become those things by practicing them, over and over. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They believed that what we do consistently shapes who we are. Character isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Seneca put it simply, we become what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That means every action, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you're becoming. If you want to be someone calm under pressure, then practice staying composed when life gets tense. If you want to be more confident, speak up even when it's uncomfortable. Over time, these choices compound, and they change you. At first, it might feel unnatural. You may feel like you're just pretending. But that's part of the process. Just like lifting weights feels awkward when you first start, showing up with new habits takes effort. But repetition builds identity. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, until it's no longer something you're trying to be. It's just who you are. The Stoics didn't wait for wisdom to arrive magically. They trained their minds like warriors train their bodies, through constant reflection, journaling, discipline, and right action. Epictetus reminded his students that daily practice is how we strengthen the soul. You don't have to get it perfect every day, you just have to keep showing up. If you want to build confidence, discipline, or resilience, start small, and start often. Choose one behavior that reflects who you want to become and commit to it. Then repeat it. Again and again. That's how real transformation happens. So don't worry if it feels uncomfortable in the beginning. Lean into it. Because practice doesn't just make progress, it makes identity. 9. True strength is owning your weaknesses. Real strength isn't about pretending you don't have flaws, it's about having the courage to face them. The Stoics didn't see weakness as something shameful. They saw it as a starting point. A mirror showing you where you need to grow. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Part of that power comes from being honest with yourself. Not to judge or criticize, but to understand and improve. The strongest people in the world aren't those who believe they're flawless, they're the ones who know exactly where they fall short and choose to work on it anyway. Avoiding your weaknesses doesn't make them disappear. In fact, it gives them more control over your life. But when you face them directly, when you admit where you struggle and decide to improve, that's where transformation begins. Stoicism teaches us that virtue is found in the effort, in the practice, in the willingness to rise after we fall. Seneca believed failure and setbacks were some of life's greatest teachers. When we stumble, we're given a clearer view of what we need to strengthen. Whether it's emotional control, discipline, or self-awareness, our flaws show us the exact areas we need to sharpen. This doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means being radically honest and deeply committed to growth. That's what Stoic strength looks like, not a life without weakness, but a life where weaknesses don't control you. So don't hide from what's uncomfortable. Use it. Let your imperfections become your training ground. Let your mistakes guide you. Let your flaws become fuel. Because true strength doesn't come from being untouchable, it comes from being brave enough to keep growing. 10. Your growth elevates others too. When you strive to become your best, it doesn't just benefit you, it lifts up everyone around you. The Stoics understood that we are all connected. What you do, how you carry yourself, and the standards you hold yourself to create a ripple effect that influences others, often more than words ever could. Marcus Aurelius believed in the principle of sympathia, the idea that we are part of a larger whole. Our actions don't exist in isolation. When you act with discipline, calm, and strength. You set an example. You show people what's possible through quiet leadership. Think about how it feels to be around someone who's grounded and focused. Their energy is steady. Their presence is reassuring. They don't need to boast or draw attention, their consistency speaks louder than any speech. That's the power of inner work. It inspires others to raise their game. When you choose to live with intention, to face your challenges, improve yourself, and live by your values, you naturally influence those closest to you. Your family, friends, co-workers, they all take notice. And often, without realizing it, they begin to hold themselves to a higher standard too. The Stoics weren't chasing glory. They were living examples of what it means to act with purpose. Their growth was personal, but it was never selfish. It was about contributing to a better world through better character. So if you've ever wondered whether the effort to better yourself is worth it, remember this: your actions matter more than you know. Every time you show up with integrity, every time you lead with strength instead of fear, you're not just changing your life, you're giving others permission to change theirs too. Be the example. Live the standard. Your growth might just be the spark that helps someone else find their own. 11. Daily practice shapes your life. Becoming your best self isn't about making one big decision or waiting for a single life-changing moment, it's about what you do every single day. The Stoics believe that greatness is built in the ordinary. In the routines. In the small, repeated actions that seem insignificant in the moment but shape who you become over time. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to approach life with purpose. He didn't just think about virtue, he practiced it. Each morning, he recommitted to his values, knowing that how he showed up that day would echo far beyond it. That's what Stoicism teaches us: consistency over intensity. It's not about dramatic gestures, but steady alignment between what you believe and how you live. If you want to become disciplined, you need to practice discipline daily. If you want to be more confident, start behaving that way, not once, but every time it counts. It doesn't matter if it feels awkward at first. What matters is that you keep showing up. The truth is, your habits are shaping your character, whether you're intentional about them or not. Every choice, every reaction, every routine is casting a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. The Stoics knew this. That's why they emphasized reflection, journaling, and deliberate living. Not to be perfect, but to be present, aware, and growing. And the beauty of daily practice? It compounds. What starts as effort becomes ease. What begins as repetition becomes identity. You're not pretending to be someone better, you're building that version of yourself, brick by brick. Day by day. So start small. Start now. Don't wait for motivation. Let your actions carry you. Because the life you want, the character you admire, isn't built in a moment. It's built in the moments you show up, even when it's hard. That's how the Stoics lived. And it's how you shape a life of strength, clarity, and purpose, one deliberate day at a time.